Hey everybody, it is Mike Young, more commonly known as digitalnomad.net, with my beautiful wife Denise, who is we're just kind of chilling. We're laying back out here because she's on a water fast right now. And if you want to learn about that, go to our nonprofit. That is a plantbaseddiet.org. But say hi if you're out there, wave to us, give us a shout out. We have time on our hands because Denise is doing this water fast. So what did we do yesterday, Denise?
We watched some videos.
We watched Netflix, right?
Yeah.
We watch, and we a lot of times what we do now is we get on Netflix and we just watch whatever pops up. They kind of have an algorithm going, right? And then what popped up this time was the countdown series, which documents the Inspiration4 space travel mission from SpaceX, which is Elon Musk's company, his other company, one of his many companies. And it just so happened that when we were watching it yesterday was the same time, almost the same time when they were being dropped down into the ocean, the four astronauts, or not astronauts, just regular old folks, citizens who were in the capsule, right?
Well, they weren't professional astronauts, but you could call them an astronaut since they were performing a space mission.
Okay, so they are astronauts, all right. And we got to watch them. Actually, we paused the show and we kind of went to the live feed from SpaceX and we watched them drop into the. Actually, we got it right after they dropped in the water, but we watched when they pulled the capsule out onto the boat, and then they all got out and then jumped for joy basically, and were smiling and waving at everyone that they were still alive because there's been issues. And we wanted to make a video, kind of, at least I wanted to, kind of talking about our thoughts about this, the show, SpaceX, what they've done, etc. Do you want to start off with some opening remarks, Denise?
So, my take on Inspiration4 was, I think it was about marketing, but I think it could turn out to be a really good thing because they chose extraordinary people to go on this mission. I don't think it costed them anything. Jared was a high school dropout who formed a really successful corporation. There was an African American lady who was a doctor, and her dad had been not an astronaut, well, an engineer who oversaw the Apollo 11 mission. This lady was actually born in Guam. That has big ties to the space program, and that had been one of her lifelong dreams to go on a space mission. Kaylee, she was a childhood cancer survivor. She had cancer, bone cancer, when she was 10, and she overcame that and later became a physician's assistant for St. Jude. And the other guy, I don't know if I watched all of the story, but everyone had remarkable stories, and they were real tear jerkers when they found out.
Were you crying?
No, but I could have. Maybe I was low on water and I couldn't.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, that's all you're eating now is water.
Yeah,
eating lots of water.
So it was really inspirational to watch these stories, but I know that SpaceX can't afford to keep taking on volunteers and sending them out in orbit for nothing. Eventually, they're going to start selling these like tickets, like plane tickets, and it's only going to be available to the really wealthy. But they could do something good with this instead of focusing on being an interplanetary species that will live on Mars someday, which is completely uninhabitable for human life. You would have to live completely indoors if you were to live on Mars.
No outdoors, no great outdoors.
No,
like we're right now, we're outdoors.
Right. Our galaxy is huge. I mean, the Milky Way galaxy is quite small, but there are other galaxies out there that have stars similar to the size of our sun and have planets that are capable of sustaining human life. It's just a matter of finding the right combustible rocket fuel materials that will get us further out, maybe to find another planet. I know we could solve the crisis of the environmental damage that we're doing by having everyone go on a plant-based diet, but that's probably not.
That's our nonprofit, by the way. Plug for that, a plantbaseddiet.org.
Right. I mean, we could solve world hunger and the environmental crisis just by ending animal agriculture and planting edible food instead of soy and corn that gets fed to the animals that go to slaughter. I mean, we could solve this very easily,
Yeah,
but that's not what Elon wants to
yeah,
do.
and actually, Denise and I were talking about that. That is the one. Elon Musk is into so many businesses, right? So many different things. The one thing he's not in, as you can tell when you look at him, because you
Mm-hmm.
commented right away, is he's eating the standard American diet. Obviously, he's
Yeah.
not into organic whole plant eating and the organic whole plant lifestyle. So, oh well,
Right.
that's our job,
But
right?
yeah, but he's still a genius. He could still help us get to another planet that is life sustaining. So
Yeah.
good
But
for
Elon, let's
good
just
for
say, Elon, if
SpaceX.
anybody over there at SpaceX wants to start a program with plant based eating, contact us, right? Message us at plantbaseddiet.org at gmail.com. Check out our website at plantbaseddiet.org. Contact us through there. And Elon, yourself, of course, will help you out.
Yeah, we'll hook you up.
But anything else? Any other comments? Sorry, I kind of interrupted there.
No, those were all my thoughts on the series.
All right. Well, let me also mention a little overview here of SpaceX itself. Why is SpaceX so important? What are they doing that no one else is doing and no one else has done? Actually, they're doing one single thing, and that's a huge deal. And it was mentioned in the series. They're actually landing rocket boosters back on Earth. So they've taken something that was a multi-million, if not more, dollar device or thing that was used to propel these capsules into space that were throwaway, right? Right? And they've kind of almost created this zero waste space company almost because they land these things back down, put them in reverse, and land them on launch pads or landing pads. And they've been doing this for 6 years. And they noted in the series that no one else has even done this in the last 6 years. I don't think anybody else has any plans in development to do this. That alone, it's kind of like it's the thing that kind of separates SpaceX from everyone else. It's kind of like how Tesla has the capability of full self-driving in all their cars, if you believe Elon. And if you believe Elon can land rockets, I think you believe he can make these cars drive on the roads here. I don't think it's anywhere near as difficult as landing rockets without them blowing up. And he has blown a few of them up, but most of them have landed successfully. And because of that, the cost of space missions has gone down dramatically. And like you were talking about, Denise, when you change things with your lifestyle, and that's a big change for the space lifestyle. We go almost zero waste. We're going to lower costs significantly and make it much more sustainable. That's what he's done. That's the real big deal here about SpaceX. If you don't know, if one big takeaway, that's it. The other big deal about the series here is that they say they are taking just average Joes and Janes and blasting them off into space. You don't need the special training, right? You don't need some larger than life astronaut, they were saying, like in the past. And that's cool too, because you can do that. And of course, SpaceX has shown that they're safe. They've shown that the horrible shuttle accidents that happened on takeoff and landing where they blew up in the past, and that kind of tainted the whole program and probably led to its demise, in my opinion. And you also got to think that, there's a couple things at play. That was always a government organization. And we know how the reputation of government organizations, especially for staying on the ball and being high quality, they tend to not be the greatest. They don't have they don't write the right motivations to be flawless. Let's put it that way, right? Whereas you look at a company like Tesla and a boss like Elon Musk, and who has a reputation of basically working people to death and never being satisfied. That's kind of what you need, actually, if you want to blast rockets off into space, reuse them, and bring them back down with people in them consistently, safely, without having any blowups. That's my opinion. So this is the big takeaway from this series. The other parts of the series that kind of got me a little dismayed is that it's really a big marketing tool, I think, for Elon Musk. Even the guy Jared, who was on there, had his little ticker, NYSE ticker, on the back of his jacket or his vest that he was wearing. It's a big self-promotion thing. And the first episode, which we watched, was pretty cool. It got you fired up, and we actually, like I said, we were watching it along with people dropping back down into the ocean and getting out of the capsule, the same people, which was pretty cool. But then it started to drag on, if you ask me, episode after episode of just, we're the greatest, look at this is so cool. It's basically saying that SpaceX is like, is doing it. It's a giant advertisement for SpaceX. And all they really needed to do was say that SpaceX is landing rockets and making them reusable, and get people to understand that. And they've done plenty of publicity stunts on that already. Just the first one that they did where it actually worked, and not a lot of people saw it. Not a lot of people know about it. It's kind of like Tesla. They do everything they can, and eventually everyone's going to find out about it. Because did you even realize that before you watched this, that SpaceX was landing rockets and
Yeah.
reusing them?
Yeah, I saw some of them.
Did it come to your mind the significance of exactly how much money someone's saving and lowering the cost? I think it cuts the cost of space travel to like a third of what it was. When you factor all that in.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it attainable. Like you said, for now it's going to be for very wealthy people, right, who can afford to do that. And the significance of this Inspiration4 is not that there were civilians in space, because Jeff Bezos went into space recently, right? Yeah. It's that if you got to get to the nitty gritty, basically that there were only 4 average Joes and Janes that got up in there, and there was nobody else in the spacecraft that had any other training than them, right?
Yeah.
So
wow.
that's just saying that, like, basically it's autonomous now, right? And of course it's autonomous, because when you got rockets landing themselves back down, standing up onto a landing pad on their own, that's completely automated. There's no way someone's controlling it with a joystick somewhere. They can't do that. They got to have high-powered, high-speed computers doing all that, right?
But Jared did know how to fly jets. And
he did.
Yeah, I think that's why they selected him, because if something went wrong with the autopilot,
if something did go wrong,
he could navigate it back to the ocean.
That's true. You're right. You're right about that. So anyway, those are our thoughts about SpaceX, the company, and about Inspiration4. And it's our little call out to everybody else. It's kind of like how Tesla didn't do a call out, but I did years ago. It's like, hey, where are your autonomous cars? Where are your systems in place for all this? What's going on with you guys? Because if you don't do something fast, you're going to go bankrupt. And they haven't gone bankrupt yet, most of the legacy ICE manufacturers, but I think that they will. That's my opinion. I think the same thing's true with space programs. They may already be too late. I don't see how anyone can compete with what SpaceX is doing on a cost level. And I know that everything that Elon Musk is involved in is expensive, but if he's bringing down the cost of all this stuff so that people can actually do it sustainably and reliably and on a regular basis, that's the big takeaway, in my opinion. So you don't need to watch the whole show anymore. Just watch our video. Pass this video along to some other people that want to know about what happened in this Inspiration4 project, show, and SpaceX, and let us know your comments too. Maybe we'll do another video in the future. But for me, I don't know much about space travel. That's all I need to know. And Denise has some great points about maybe we don't even need this if we just focus on Earth, but maybe Elon's using this as a backup plan. I don't know, in case things don't work out here on Earth. But let's get Elon and SpaceX and Tesla and everybody living the plant-based organic lifestyle. How about that, right? And then maybe we can do it for fun because they brought the cost down, but we don't have to escape Earth, right? Yeah.
Well, the first video about Inspiration4 is well worth watching. The subsequent 4 videos, I believe, are like to get to know each of the 4 astronauts. So yeah, it's worth watching.
Yep. All right. Well, anyway, thanks so much. Have a great day, everybody, and we will see you in the next video.